The show starts in 3, 2, 1, go.
Good morning, CaneSport. It's September the 24th, 2024. I'm Gary Ferman, the publisher of CaneSport.com. Joined once again this morning by our managing editor, Matt Shodell, as we discuss the news of the day, presented today by CanesWear, your ultimate destination for all your Miami Hurricanes merchandise needs. The Canes are having a huge season this year. Celebrate by flaunting your CanesWear all over America. And if you live within proximity, you can go to the store at 2655 South University Drive in Davie. If you are out of town, you could shop CanesWear at CanesWear.com. We'll talk a little bit more about CanesWear later in the show. I want to start out today, though. Well, first I want to say that if you are not yet a subscriber to CaneSport.com, we really want you to become part of our community. This is going to be one way or the other an amazing season, and we're having record traffic on our message boards. Everybody's excited, and we really want to unite the entire fan base in one place at CaneSport.com. So if you're not yet a subscriber, please head on over to our website and join our phenomenal community. I don't think you'll be sorry. Matt and the Zuby and Steven and our whole crew, we do everything we can do every minute of every day to make your fan experience the best that it could possibly be. So head on over to CaneSport.com and get yourself a subscription. All right. That's commercial number one. Commercial number two today, since I wasn't on the show yesterday, I had a little bit of a delayed return from Tampa. I'm going to give a shout out to Burns Steakhouse in Tampa, because what a phenomenal host they were for the Canes Nation, I'll call it, this weekend. Bunch of us were there on Friday night, and it was just one big party in the dining room and at the bar. So many Canes fans. Don't tell Mario, but I even saw one or two staffers and that might have snuck out. I'm sure with permission. But no, in all seriousness, just a great Canes party at Burns Steakhouse, and they did their part by having phenomenal food and everything. So big shout out to Burns, and a shout out to all you guys that I saw there on Friday night. It was great meeting some of you, and just glad everybody had a great time in Tampa. And then, of course, there was the game, and we're a couple days removed now, and I know you and Azubi very ably discussed it on yesterday morning's Good Morning CaneSport. But I just wanted to very quickly make the point that, in the days leading up to the game, I talked a lot about how I was really hoping that this team would be challenged by South Florida. I thought it would happen. I thought South Florida was good enough to challenge Miami in preparation, which they did with the things they do schematically and their up-tempo offense and aggressive defense. And they challenged Miami all week, which I think is really important, because down the road, when you play better teams, that preparation is going to come in very handy. And it's good to build those habits now and not get kind of like in a complacent mindset. And I just thought that it was great that Miami was challenged. They were trailing twice in the second quarter, but they rallied the troops, so to speak, played a phenomenal third quarter to take control of the game. And the rest is history, which leads us to the theme. As always, after these games, we send Matt to the lab. And this week was no different. Hold him up in the lab and said, Matt, study the tape, take a close look at different things, and come out with a couple stories to scintillate our readers this week. And Matt has certainly done that. You members of the Matt Shodell fan club. Oh, by the way, your fan club was very well turned out Friday night at Burns, and then again at the game on Saturday, Matt Shodell. I got more comments about you than literally like Cam Ward, the Miami offense, the Miami defense, Mario. Nobody cares about all those topics. All anybody wants to talk to me about is Matt Shodell, okay, wherever I go. It gets a little bit, laborious. I'm not going to argue.
It's crazy because, my given name is not even Matt Shodell. My given name is Manny Diaz. I had to change it 3 years ago to match Shodell. So like Matt Shodell didn't even exist until recently. I don't understand how these people are all obsessed with me.
Well, it's hard talking about you all the time. I will admit it was a little bit difficult, but we pushed through the weekend. And but anyway, so we sent Matt to the lab, and he has come out with the amazing conclusion. There's a pair of them actually. His conclusion number one was that the schedule is not very good this year. Okay. And we thank him very much for that. And now he's telling us that the first 4 opponents Miami played have defenses that are among the worst in the country. Okay. So, like, just dampen all of our excitement. We're all fired up. I mean, man, Cam Ward, wow. I mean, what more can you say about this guy? Like, just the plays he makes, the consistency. I mean, that throw that he made in the middle of the cover 2 the other night to Sam Brown. I mean, I'll tell you right now, that throw moved him up the draft charts because that's an NFL throw. You got to be able to make that throw in the NFL, and he just made it with ease. And I spoke to some people over the weekend, and Cam Ward, who is at Miami because the NFL didn't think he was better than a 4th or 5th round draft pick, and Miami's paying him a lot of money. The collective paying him a lot of money. But he's here because the NFL was kind of yawning at him. They're not yawning at him anymore. I'll tell you that. Cam Ward is now projected as a 1st round draft pick in every which way, every forecast of the draft that you'll find. Cam Ward is in the 1st round, and some are thinking he could be a really high 1st round pick now that they're seeing him with better talent. Cam Ward is showcasing himself. But then Matt Shodell comes in to destroy that party too, and make sure he points out to everybody that Cam Ward is running up all these stats and looking brilliant against horse crap defenses. Matt Shodell, what do you have to say for yourself?
I mean, you're like CNN and Fox News. You take what I say and twist it into your little perverted narrative. All I did in my story this morning was use numbers to illustrate that Miami's offense is going to keep on putting up massive amounts of numbers because the rankings, and listen, I understand. I understand that Miami's played 4 games. Their opponents have played 4 games. So when you say Florida's ranked 112th in the country in offense, which they are, that in part, 1/4 of that is what Miami did to Florida, right? I understand that they, maybe Florida's not 112th, maybe they're really 100th. I get it. They're still pretty bad.
You're making the point I was going to make to you. Very good.
Oh, they're still pretty bad. FAMU 99th, Ball State 132nd, and somebody else with 103rd, whatever. The 4 teams basically are all 100th or worse in offense, including what Miami did to them. So when you look at the defenses they're facing coming up here, Virginia Tech 66th in total defense, Cal 31st, and Louisville 22nd. Those are the 2 good ones. Then FSU 80th, Duke 17th, but Duke hasn't played anybody. Georgia Tech 52nd, Wake Forest 128th, Syracuse 92nd. So really just Louisville and Cal are the only decent defenses they'll play all year. That's not, and there's no indictment on Cam Ward. Cam Ward's amazing. He's the best quarterback Miami may have ever had. I mean, that's clear, and I've said it over and over again. Like we've never seen a quarterback play like this. Now, with that said, I've been around the game long enough to realize that right now, if this was a stock, right, you want to sell stocks high and buy stocks low, right? Right now, Miami stock is as high as it can get, and Virginia Tech stock is probably as low as it can get. So when you look at the betting line of 19 and a half points in this game, that may be, maybe that's a little unrealistic. Like I think Miami wins this game by double digits, and I'm not a betting person. I don't bet, but like I've seen this happen a million times where it's a little unrealistic how good somebody thinks a team is based on playing some really bad teams, and somebody else, they're terrible because, they lost to Rutgers in their most recent game. It sort of skews things. Now, I think Miami will win this game 10 to 14 points. Virginia Tech is not a bad team. Like, this is not a real test, but it's a lot better team than USF. I think Virginia Tech will beat USF 8 out of 10 times. I think Virginia Tech beats Florida 7 out of 10 times. Like, it's a better team than Miami's faced. And what's most interesting to me about this coming game, and this gets back to this whole Cam Ward thing, is that, yeah, we can say, okay, Virginia Tech defense is not good, right? They haven't played Miami yet. And, they're 66th in total defense, and they're 103rd in rush defense. The only thing they're good at on defense is they're 28th in passing yards allowed, and they have really good cornerbacks. So this, to me, is a chance for Cam Ward to actually show the NFL for real that he can fit balls into tight windows. Because guess what? I mean, if you look at the passes he threw last game and the games before, 80% of them guys were wide open. Like, and by wide open, I mean a step. Like, a step is wide open in the NFL, okay? They were open by a step or more almost all the time. And if you look at this last game, for instance, where he put up some huge numbers, I think it was about 70 or 80% of his throws were within 9 yards of the line of scrimmage because he didn't have to throw downfield. They were just running backs. Nobody even bothered covering them. I mean, USF's defense was awful. They were awful. And you could say, oh, well, Cam Ward made them look awful. But as you watch the game, you'll just see that guys are just wide open and there's no pressure on the quarterback. He was kept clean 73% of the time or whatever, which is a really high number in college football. That means a completely clean pocket. That's like nobody even near him when he throws the ball. That's a clean pocket, okay? So when you're doing that 3/4 of the time, a quarterback should be very, very adept at getting the ball out, especially when a receiver's wide open. This Friday night will be a little different. And it's okay to say that. It doesn't mean, people they misinterpreted what I said yesterday about Clemson, that Miami's going to lose to Clemson. Never yesterday did I say Miami's worse than Clemson. Never on yesterday's show did I say Miami's going to lose to Clemson. What I said is, I like to take the mentality that Clemson's the top team in the conference and Miami's not, because Miami has to prove it, right? We've seen this too many times in 2 decades. So let's just pretend Clemson's still the best team, even though they're not. And Miami has to beat Clemson to say we are now the top dog, because Clemson's been the top dog forever. Even in the recent couple of down seasons, they still win in 9 games. Like, that's the team you beat to say we're the king now. Okay, that's all I meant yesterday, and that's literally what I said yesterday. But people are like, Matt said that Clemson's going to beat Miami. I never said that. It's like Gary twisted my words around.
Kind of thing you would say.
So yeah. But so I'm really interested on Friday, not to see
everybody sucks. Miami's just
everyone thinks all I say is suck, bad.
All these bad teams.
The problem is my New York accent. My New York accent and my intonation makes it sound like I'm complaining, even when I'm saying something positive. It's not my fault, okay? It's the voice that I was given and this freaking face that my genetics unfortunately bestowed upon me, and people blame me for it. Like, even when I say good things, half the people think I'm still saying bad things because of my voice just sounds miserable, and I'm a miserable person. I can't help it. It is what it is. Yeah. Anyway, Miami wins this weekend, I think, by double digits, but not by 20. Like, I just think Virginia Tech is a lot better than people think. I know they're 2-2. Okay, I know their only wins are against Old Dominion, and Old Fartsicle from wherever. Like, I understand they've lost. I understand they lost to Vanderbilt in overtime. I understand they lost to Rutgers, but I feel like they're a better team than they've showed. Like, sometimes they're just teams that are better talent-wise than they showed. We've seen that with Miami for how many years now? Like, Miami had talent in the last 22 years. It just never showed up. And I feel like Virginia Tech, with that quarterback, had a terrible game. He's going to be really motivated to show that was a one-off, right? He was terrible against Rutgers, but really good last year as a starter there after transferring in. And not too bad the first 3 games this season. He had a bad game last week. They also have the benefit, Virginia Tech, of seeing what Lance Guidry does to a running quarterback, right? Not that Kyron Jones is only a running quarterback. He's a better passer than we saw from USF, in my opinion, even though USF had passing game success. But they can see, okay, here's how they dialed up, trying to shadow Byron Brown. And here's how they dialed up trying to stop the run in all aspects, because USF's really good at the run. Virginia Tech also has a top running back in addition to a running quarterback. And so they already have a sense on film clearly of what Miami's probably going to do, which, that's going to play a factor, I honestly think. So it's going to be really interesting. I'm very excited to see Friday's game. I was not excited to see these first 4 games, honestly. And I think I probably stated on this show, I couldn't care less to watch these first 4 games. I predicted blowouts in all 4 of them. They were all 4 blowouts. This is the first game where I'm sitting here saying, I'm not sure Miami wins by 2 touchdowns. But about, I'd say around 10 to 14 point win, and I'll take it. I know fans want them to win by 30 points in every game, but like this is one of those games where the matchup's not great. And to me, just from, I feel like Miami does perhaps have some defensive issues for this particular look on offense. And Cam Ward on offense is going to perhaps have trouble finding receivers as open as he's used to seeing them. And Virginia Tech has one of the country's best pass rushers. Like, it's just not a great matchup for Miami, personnel-wise, position-wise. Miami still out-talents Virginia Tech at every position. Hopefully I'm explaining this correctly because it sounds contradictory. There are some issues that Miami could have in this game, which is why I think fans in a game like this should just be happy with a win. I'll take the win. I don't know if I've said it clearly, probably not. People will be pissed, but like, whatever. Hopefully I said it right.
Man. Like, they love you no matter what. Like,
that's not true.
You had to hear these people.
People were complaining about me I assume in Tampa, right?
You had to hear these people. I mean, it was a mix. You had some fans, you had some detractors. But this one guy, like, first he, rants about you for about 5 minutes, and then he says, and let me tell you something else. He says, do you realize how much money that the University of Miami has paid Mario to get us to this place this season where we're competitive? And I said, oh, yeah, I do. I mean, you could just keep adding numbers, because no matter what number you're coming up with, it's higher. But it was kind of interesting. He was like adding up the 8, now 8, like 24 million in salary and all, 40 million in NIL and everything else. I'm like, wow, no joke, man. The cost of being good in college football is pretty significant. There's no doubt about it. But obviously, a lot of the investment has gone into the Miami offense, no matter, how much Matt wants to shine on all these other teams and how bad they are defensively. They're partially bad defensively because they played Miami. I'm glad he pointed that out. But the Canes offense right now is number 2 in the nation in total offense, and they're number 4 in scoring offense. I can't remember the last time we had offensive stats like this at Miami. And I'm not going to proclaim Cam Ward the best quarterback to ever play at the school. There were some other guys that were pretty damn good, one of which was on the sideline on Saturday, and it was Vinny Testaverde. Great to see Vinny again. Of course, he won the Heisman Trophy one year, but and Cam Ward may win it this year, but he's just so different than all these other quarterbacks. I don't even want to compare him. It's funny, on our message board, everybody wants to start ranking the receivers: receiver 1, receiver 2, receiver 3, receiver 4, the running backs 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, you can't like how are you going to rank these guys? I mean, Restrepo is Restrepo. He had 6 catches the other night for 99 yards. Isaiah Horton had 8 catches for 106 yards.
Hey, you're going to apologize to Mr. Horton and Mrs. Horton or what?
Sam Brown, he had 2 for 75. Why do we have to rank them 1, 2, and 3? I mean, and before the season, Cam Ward was proclaiming Jacoby George one of the best receivers in the country. Like, why do we have to, why can't we just enjoy this plethora of talent? Why do we have to rank these guys 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Like, I don't know that you can. I mean, the running backs. I mean, Jordan Lyle had 104 yards the other night on 6 carries. Let me ask you a question. Does Damian Martinez look a little bit slow to you compared to what you thought he was going to be? Because I thought he looked a little quicker, on film before this season. No, okay. No, He doesn't look slow at all. I think there's a little bit.
I think he's being a little too patient behind the line. He's not getting that explosive. Maybe he's not finding a hole, but he doesn't look like he's bursting through holes. Like, that's for sure. And these other guys,
he was fine to me on that 50-yard pass play the other night. I mean, I don't think he's getting a lot of opportunities. I mean, he did get 11 touches in this game, but he hasn't been getting 11 touches in every game.
I was curious. I mean, I expected him to really be busting loose a lot.
They're throwing the ball a lot.
And in fairness, I mean, other teams are daring Miami to throw the ball for whatever reason. They're like, well, let Cam Ward throw. We'll shut down the run. I don't necessarily understand it. Miami's, not that Pro Football Focus means anything at all, but I mean, you look at their Pro Football Focus pass protecting grades are elite, like off the charts good. Miami's only allowed 3 sacks, not a lot of pressures, but the run blocking grades are bad. There's only one run blocking grade above 70%, and that's Carpenter, and the others are like, I think 62 is the next best. and the rest are in the 50s for the guys who play a bit. So I don't know what the Pro Football Focus experts look at to grade run blocking, but whatever they seem to have seen, it appears Miami's not getting a lot of push up front.
They're not.
Except maybe if Cam Ward just points to the spots they're going to run to so the running back knows where to go.
They're doing good in those situations.
The offensive linemen know where to block. Maybe he should do that every play, and that might be better. Maybe you should start doing that every play.
They have to power block and get that.
When you ask Shannon Dawson about that, I mean, why would you ask Shannon Dawson about that at the press conference yesterday? What's wrong with you? That's like asking a parent, why did your child pee in the middle of the classroom? Like, you don't do that, man. Let it go. Let Cam Ward have his fun. Don't call him out.
I wouldn't call him out. I thought it was awesome. I think it's the funniest damn thing I've ever seen. He's like over there pointing. He's going to go. He's like, we're going right here.
And not just once, over and over again. Over and over again.
We're going right here. We're going right here, everybody.
It's like the catcher. It's like the catcher saying outside fastball, curveball down the middle. I mean, I don't think Shannon Dawson loves having. I don't think Shannon Dawson loves having Cam Ward do that. But maybe next time Cam Ward will point and they'll go somewhere else, so it'll work out great.
I've never seen that before. That's why I love it so much. I mean, we have seen so many things through the years over and over and over again. I have never seen anybody point to the hole where the play is going and have it actually really go there and work. It's awesome. It's got to be absolutely demoralizing for these guys.
It's genius. It's mental games. It's genius. I mean, he plays mental games with these guys. He slows down on the sideline, just stands there waiting for them to hit him out of bounds. I mean, you got to hand it to Cam Ward. He's like that annoying guy on a morning show that everyone hates. Unless you're rooting for the same team as the annoying guy in the morning show, everyone else just hates him because he's so annoying. That's Cam Ward.
Absolutely love the kid. He has been just such an unbelievable addition to this program. Oh, yeah. And I met his parents out there. We were all waiting for the Miami buses to arrive on Saturday. I met his parents. I just told his dad, I said, my God, man, you guys, I don't know what you guys did as parents, but this kid is unbelievable.
Yeah, I talked to his dad. His dad's a good guy. I talked to his dad a lot.
Oh man, yeah, he got a bad rap during all the stuff that was going on because of, he ended up playing it like a genius. I mean, it seemed like he was being annoying or being a helicopter dad or whatever people were saying about him. Yeah. He managed the whole thing perfectly. He played the hand as well as it could be played. He got the max amount of money you could possibly get for his son. Cam Ward is earning, as much as $2 million this year playing at Miami. And congratulations, to Mr. Brown. I mean, it created anxious moments. It wasn't great for Miami, which went out and had to spend for Reese Poppenbarger because they thought they needed a quarterback. And, he got a really nice NIL sweet deal out of it. I'm sure he gives Cam Ward a hug every day for stretching that process out for 4 months or whatever the hell it was. But he has been such a great addition to this program. And, I met his parents and I just told him, I said, you guys are, have raised just an unbelievable young man. I mean, he's really special in every way, so that was a nice part of the weekend. Miami has these phenomenal offensive stats, and, we've now declared that all the defensive teams that they've played to this point are horrendous. But fortunately, in today's story that's on the website, for those of you that subscribe to CaneSport.com, and those of you don't, please, like I said, come on, man, your subscriptions allow us to do what we do every single day. Very significant to us that we can bring everybody together at CaneSport.com. But Matt, in your story today, you point out that the Hokies are right now 66th in total defense. Not really great in the run game. So clue. This might be a good opportunity to work on the run game that has probably been as amazing as it seems. Might be the most underachieving area of this team to this point in the season. They do have a decent secondary against the pass. I'm expecting Miami to come out and really try to get these backs going. Damian Martinez, the two hot button topics in our message boards are Damian Martinez and Sam Brown. These are two guys that came here, Matt, to be just absolute dudes. I mean, they didn't come here to be bit players, okay? And I think everybody needs to understand that. Well, they've been bit players, through the first part of the season. We're now 4 games in of a 12-game season. We're a third of the way through the regular season. And Sam Brown and Damian Martinez are not making the impact I guarantee you that they expected to make coming to Miami. And Shannon Dawson's trying to get them going. I mean, Sam Brown, let's see, he had 8 targets against Ball State, 5 targets against South Florida. He had the long touchdown play. And I asked Shannon Dawson about it at the press conference yesterday. And he said that he's really hoping that gets Sam going. He thinks Sam really needed that play. And, this kid has incredible talent, guys. I mean, I'm sitting here arguing with guys on the message boards who are trying to tell me he sucks. And I mean, sucks. I mean, this kid is a freaking, he's a hell of an athlete and a potentially really good receiver. And yeah, he came in late. Yeah, he was behind. Yeah, he didn't have a connection with the quarterback. Yeah, he had a few bad plays in the Florida game. Probably might have been trying just a little too hard to be the Sam Brown that he thinks he's supposed to be. And but man, this kid, Miami needs this kid to be, play at the level. We don't know that we can count on Jacoby George, who's struggled a little bit with a couple bad plays in between some other good ones. But Restrepo's a really good possession receiver. No argument, but they need, other guys. Horton has stepped into that void and is having a great season. But Matt, you could look at Horton and Brown, and the difference between those two isn't physical ability. I mean, they're both very good physical receivers. The difference is Horton was here for spring practice. He was here for the early parts of the summer workouts. Horton has a better connection with Cam Ward that is pulling the trigger on all these plays, and that's why he's got the bigger stats, to go with it. But, Brown, Martinez, to me, are vital. You saw Shannon Dawson trying to get Martinez going this week a little bit more. He had 11 carries, which is more than double every other running back but Jordan Lyle. Jordan Lyle got 6 because he got the bulk of his carries late in the game. A.J. Allen, who certainly deserves more than 3 carries, only got 3 carries. Fletcher only had 3 carries in this game. My guess is that it was a good, Fletcher, I don't know what was in his head. I'm not, he comes out of the locker room for the game, and the first thing he does is go run towards the South Florida sideline to start taunting South Florida. Okay, that couldn't have gone over really well, and then he had the penalty in the game. So, they were trying to get Damian Martinez going, so they understand how important that is, but not just to Damian Martinez, who came here expecting to be a dude, but to this offensive football team. So, Matt, to sum it all up, the defensive have stunk, but Miami still has so much more that it can do on offense. And I think Martinez and Brown their emergence is a big part of that.
Yeah, look, you're going to think I'm nuts. Everyone's going to think I'm nuts. But having watched this team and seeing sort of what I see, just my personal opinion, I think Miami's best offense is in 12 personnel, where it's just Horton and Restrepo as your receivers. And I like Elijah Lofton lining up sometimes in the backfield, sometimes split out, sometimes attached, helping in the run game, with Elijah Arroyo, a full-time player as a tight end, doing what he does also. I don't trust Jacoby George. I'm sorry. I know fans think he's amazing. 2 years of miscues, the thing last game, I'm not sure he's fully healthy. I don't need that with these major games coming up. And Sam Brown just seems a little soft. I'm sorry. That's just what I see right now. I love what I've seen from Elijah Lofton. He doesn't play enough. When he's in, he's a massive force, I think, in the short passing game, and he can help the run game, right? The run game has been, right now, I know Shannon Dawson says it's fine. Mario says it's fine. Early in games, they've struggled to run. Against Florida, they struggled to run. I get their other teams are stacking the box. Other teams used to stack the box, and Miami would run just fine, okay? I understand that it's pick your poison, but you still should be able to run, because guess what? When teams stack the box, okay, 7 or 8 guys in the box, a lot of times when you snap it, they're backing out of that because they're showing that they're stacking the box in order to ensure that you're going to pass the ball. So I don't care if they're stacking the box. You still have to run the ball. They haven't done it successfully with Damian Martinez. I put an extra tight end in the game who can also catch the ball and is multi-purpose. And I think that's personally, for me, what I think would be their best personnel set right now. I know fans are going to think I'm nuts to take Jacoby George off the field, Sam Brown off the field. But that's just what I feel. That's just what I feel with the run game not really being on track. And just knowing there are going to be some, not good defenses, but some better defenses that they will have to beat using the run game at some point, right? You can't do everything every game with just Cam Ward that just is proven throughout history that just passing the ball all day long and not being able to run it, there will be a team that they will struggle against simply because there's a good secondary or simply because the offensive line's not having a good game that week and they're getting confused by certain schemes the other defense coordinators doing. Like, you have to do both successfully, and they have to find a way to run the ball, period. I don't care if Virginia Tech has 11 in the box, okay? Obviously, they're not going to do that. But, like, you have to run the ball successfully. And then, like that's the beauty of this, right? Is they have so many different options and weapons on offense. And you talk about, that they want to make Sam Brown happy by targeting him. They want to make Damian Martinez happy. I could care less about these guys being happy or not. The job of the players, the job of the Miami Hurricanes is to win games, and each game is going to be different, right? What, Gary?
All right. Let's put yourself in the shoes of those two kids. Okay, both are established players in college football. They were among the top catches in the transfer portal. They came to Miami to be stars. Let's be honest. That's what they're here for.
So why isn't John Dennis starting? Why isn't Kim McCormick starting? Why isn't Logan Sagapolu starting? These guys are gone. But then, just because you transfer in doesn't mean you automatically get to start and get targets.
These two guys are at a different level than those guys.
Sam Brown probably is the fourth best receiver right now on the roster.
Okay, but Martinez, well, why do we have to rank him? I'm going to ask you the same question.
That's why you keep it. Why rank them? Why rank them? Like, what are you even talking about? Are we covering the same sport?
1, 2, 3, 4. Why?
There's something called a depth chart.
Very good. They all contribute the talent level on this team.
So your argument is the starters are the same as the backups, and they should all play equal. That's what you're trying to tell. I don't understand what you're trying to say.
I think Brown, Restrepo, for sure. Horton, for sure.
Your argument is there's no difference between any of them. That's you're saying there's no difference. Which
they don't need to be ranked.
So there's no difference between any of them. Don't rank them. Just play them in a rotation. Everybody gets in a rotation. Nobody's behind anyone else.
That is what they're doing.
You should move to a communist society. In a communist society, everyone is equal, Gary. If you want the Miami Hurricanes to be a communist team, then that's fine. I have nothing against communism. My grandfather was a great socialist. He loved socialism. If you want to do that, that's fine. But I'm pretty sure the Miami Hurricanes want to be a democracy where they rank people, where you have a starting player and a second team player and a third team player. And the first team player makes more NIL money than the second team player, than the third team player. And the first team player is better than the second team player, who's better than the third team player. This is not, let's go get a jug of water down to the river and all share it and each have a cup. We each get one sip and then go back and get more water from the river.
We don't need to rank the running backs and the receivers on this year's football team. We have loaded running back and receiver rooms. Any of these guys are capable of busting out and being the dude on any given possession or in any given game. There's no reason to rank them. Why? For what does that accomplish? It accomplishes absolutely nothing. They're all going to have their moments as this season goes along. What I've been talking about is the psychological battle that I can't imagine that Martinez and Brown aren't having with themselves. I mean, they have to be stunned. There's no way if you told those two guys that you are going to be part of a rotation with 4 or 5 guys and that you are not going to be RB1 and WR1 and putting up big numbers at Miami, which is going to market you to the National Football League, there's no chance they come here in the transfer portal. I mean, let's just be honest. So I think the coaches understand that, Matt. I think Shannon Dawson understands that. And I see Shannon Dawson making an effort to get both of those guys going. Like, they are getting more reps. But there's just so many guys that have to eat on this offense. Martinez gets 11 carries in the game the other day. He's not getting 20, 25 carries, most likely, unless they feature the run this week against Virginia Tech. Because
I really don't understand. So if you're the coach, just so I understand, you're dialing up plays for specific players, regardless of what the defense is doing. That's just what you're doing. You got to feed the guys, make the guys happy.
Not fair to them. Then why'd you bring them here in the portal?
I just want to try to understand you. Okay, I understand you. I disagree, but I understand you.
Coming in the portal to Miami has been the world to Cam Ward. Okay, the world. His draft stock is soaring. He's going to make millions on top of millions. That guy is going to have so much money 3, 4, 5 years from now. It's going to be amazing for him. It's worked for him. It's not working right now for Martinez and Brown. And the coaches, I think, have to be cognizant of that. I don't think it's unfair. Like if they weren't going to be used more than what they're being used, then it made no sense to bring them here. So who's going to be? Yeah, there's going to be guys that are going to pay the price. I mean, Chris Johnson is paying a price. There's no doubt about it. AJ Allen is paying a price. There's no doubt about it. Even Mark Fletcher, he only had 3 carries the other night for 5 yards. He's going to pay a price. But it totally made sense to bring these veteran guys that were proven in college football. If you were able to add them to the team, it made total sense to do it. And yes, that comes with a responsibility to feature them at times and let them fulfill what they came here to do. I think I see them trying to do that. It's not working, I'm sure, as well as they would like. Martinez can't get off in the game if the O-line isn't blowing holes for him, and they haven't been able to do it to this point. His best plays have really been in the passing game. And Sam Brown, his targets the last 2 weeks have been higher. 8 against Ball State, 5 against South Florida. I expect that to continue. I do expect Shannon Dawson to keep trying to feature him. So to sort of like package all this together for you guys.
By the way, just so you know, Gary, there's a stat that Pro Football Focus measures called yards after contact per attempt. The lowest number for the running backs room after they get hit and then get yards is Damian Martinez. Just so you know, as of right now, like out of the entire running back room, he is at the bottom in yards after contact. And he has such a strong build and powerful, that's what I'm saying. I don't understand what's going on with him. Like, you watch his film and he's just busting through guys and pushing guys back, and now previously, and now it's just like, he just gets hit and goes down. Like, I don't understand what's going on. I don't get it. And then you watch AJ Allen run, and AJ Allen looks faster and more explosive than Damian. Like, that's what I'm trying to say to you. I don't understand. And that's why I was asking if you saw that too, but you said no. So I dropped it. Like,
No. I have absolutely seen it. I think AJ Allen has looked spectacular this year. Spectacular. And I'm sure his camp would be saying, why aren't we playing more in lieu of the other guys? I mean, listen, Mario loves this competition.
AJ Allen is averaging 4.4 yards after contact. Damian Martinez is averaging 3.2. That's over a yard difference, okay? After a defender makes contact, he's averaging more than a yard per carry, more than the starter. Like, I understand it's a limited pool of reps for both of them, I guess, because they're sharing a lot of carries, but it's not insignificant, so I don't know.
But Mario loves this competition. Like, he
thrives on it.
Thrives on it, loves it. He understands they may lose a couple guys at the end of the year to the portal that aren't happy with the way they were utilized this year. But they are going to embrace the competition. They think it's going to make everybody better. It's going to make them a better football team. When we look at the product that's on the field this year, it's hard to argue with that. It really is. And I hope that everybody's staying selfless. I hope that they're not being selfish, but I do understand the pain of the guys that came in the portal that were proven college football players that are here to showcase themselves. Right now, it's working for Cam Ward. It's working big time for Tyler Barron. He soared up the draft charts. He could end up being a first-round draft pick. Simeon Barrow, I thought, had a phenomenal game at South Florida.
By the way, imagine if Tyler Barron was still at Louisville. Thank God Miami got that guy. Can you imagine? Their defense line's amazing as it is. Imagine if they had him also. I mean, and if Miami didn't have him, that's a huge flip-flop. Mario getting that guy out of the portal is huge. I know he for those who don't know, by the way, I know he played at Tennessee last year, but he transferred to Louisville after that and then came to Miami. Never played it down at Louisville. He was there for a sip of coffee in the spring.
Bizarre, yeah. But no, he's soaring up the draft board, as obviously is Cam Ward. And a couple other guys that are getting noticed by the scouts are Mesidor, even though he's doing a lot of the dirty work that's freeing up the other guys, but people like what they're seeing. That I mentioned Arroyo is really making a big impression. I think he'll be a second-round draft pick. So yeah, Ward, Brown, Arroyo, Mesidor, Mish Powell is really impressing the NFL scouts so far this season. His draft status looks like it's rising. So like some of these guys are getting the residual benefits of what they came here for. But Martinez and Brown to this point are not. Maybe that changes here as we go forward. Maybe as soon as Friday night against Virginia Tech, where the matchups could be favorable to really work on the run game and get the run game going. All right, let me take a moment here and talk about CanesWear, because it truly is your ultimate destination for all your Canes merchandise needs. CanesWear, to me, has become the premier store for the Canes fan to go get their stuff. First, let's take a look at CanesWear.
Welcome to CanesWear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, CanesWear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at CanesWear.com. CanesWear, the spot Miami fans shop.
And CanesWear really does have anything you can want: t-shirts, jerseys, polos, hoodies, hats, flags, decals, magnets, whatever it is, they'll have it for you there at CanesWear. And they have all sizes for men, women, kids, and babies. And heck, if you have a dog that you want to dress up, you want to like brag to your neighbors that you're a Canes fan, that the team is playing well and justifying it, you can even get gear for your pets at CanesWear, and let them show off as well. And home game Friday night against Virginia Tech. Might want to get off work early, tailgate a little bit. You can go to CanesWear, and they will hook you up with tents and tables and chairs for all of your tailgating needs as well. And while you're at CanesWear, you can even get food. Since they feed Lamar every week before the Lamar Thomas show, I'll give a shout out to La Spada Subs next door there to CanesWear, and you can load up on some the best subs in South Florida without a doubt. Get your food, get your tailgate stuff, get your clothes, Cam Ward jersey, and head on over to Hard Rock for the game against Virginia Tech. If you're not coming to town for the game, you live out of town, you can go to CanesWear.com anytime you want and shop their store 24/7. So 2655 South University Drive in Davie is the address. CanesWear.com is where you find them on the internet. Visit CanesWear in one way or the other soon to fulfill all your Canes merchandise needs. All right, a few other things on the website today that I'll talk about. Bumped into Clinton Portis up there in Tampa this weekend, and it was funny. His son Camden was on a recruiting visit to South Florida. So Clinton was dressed in South Florida clothes, showing respect to the school that is recruiting Camden. And like, listen, Camden's doing a heck of a job as a cornerback. He's a 4-star. I don't see any way that this kid doesn't end up being a Miami Hurricane. He's one of the best defensive backs in the 2026 recruiting class, but everybody's recruiting them. So Clinton is taking them around to all these football schools around the country. So of course he has to wear the clothes of whatever school they're visiting on that particular day. So I was laughing with him. I'm like, Clinton, what the hell are you doing, man? Like, you're wearing South Florida clothes. He's like, he unzips his jacket. He's like, trust me, man, I got the right one underneath here. He was great, but he's enjoying his son being recruited. And I think you can look forward to Camden Portis being part of the 2026 recruiting class. I would be very surprised if he's not. Right now, he's ranked the number 21 cornerback in the country. But we have an update on him on the website today, so make sure you check that out. Miami has also offered recently a 6'8", 310-pound offensive tackle, guy by the name of Claude Mapuma. I hope I pronounced that right. He's a native of Cameroon. Really cool story. He's at Chicago Phillips Academy right now. He's a 2026 offensive tackle there. Miami has now picked up the chase. So make sure you check that story. Think you like that. Just, a little different. It's cool. And we also have another update on Miami's 2026 quarterback commit, Darian Coleman. What a game he had last week. He threw for almost 500 yards and 4 touchdowns. He talks to us about it. So you guys can check out that story as well. But that's going to conclude Good Morning CaneSport for today. We thank you so much for starting out your day with us. If you're on YouTube right now and you like the show, like this channel, hit your subscribe and like buttons. It does help us with the algorithms at YouTube in growing our audience, aka the Matt Shodell fan club. And like I said, if you're not yet a subscriber to CaneSport, please head on over to our website, CaneSport.com. Become a member. Your subscriptions really do allow us to do what we do every day, and we will, in return, do everything we can do to make you the most informed fan of the Miami Hurricanes that could possibly exist in the entire world. So for Matt Shodell, I'm Gary Ferman. Thanks again, everybody, and we will see you next time.